Welcome to the Coach Toolbox. I'm your host, Dr. Ajay Nangalia, a leadership coach and counselor. This channel supports your professional and personal development as a leader with research-based and practice-focused learning. And we bring you the best career and life advice from guests who've been there and done that successfully. And now, our session today. Whichever part of the world you are in, whatever you've been doing, the last year and a half has really led to a pervasive fatigue in all of us. And I call that the COVID fatigue. It's really getting us down, and the fact that there is no end in sight. It's even more intense in so many places, including in our own country. I think it's causing a heck of a lot of stress and anxiety and this general level of fatigue. So today, let's talk about some powerful strategies to deal with COVID fatigue. Because this last 1 year has put tremendous pressure and stress on us. And also the fact is that there is no end in sight. We actually now have an escalation that is even more severe. And this means that many of us are struggling at a higher level of fatigue or despair and perhaps even giving up. So let's consider the things that are causing this COVID fatigue and look for ways that we can deal with it. Well, we really don't have a choice because we have perhaps another 6 months more of this virulent situation. Now, a key cause of this fatigue is the pressure of productivity. The pressure of productivity. Over the last 1 year, COVID has put a tremendous pressure on us to become productive and to show visibly that we are productive. Hence the incessant and never-ending telecalls and meetings on Zoom. Many times this is a false self-created pressure. There is also a pressure to attend skills building and certification programs, whether they will be of any use to us or not, and then paste these certifications on social media to demonstrate how we are redeeming the time in the best possible way. This ongoing onslaught of pressure is taking its toll. It's taking its toll in terms of stress and anxiety and burnout, and of course on family life and relationships. Yet, I wonder if it's fair to put all the blame on the virus. Stressful times normally amplify the dysfunction that already exists in relationships or in families or in couples, and it takes it to a new level of intensity or brings it out into the open. So it may not be fair to put all the blame on the COVID virus. So if there is a family or relationship struggle or dysfunction, it's likely to play out during these COVID times openly, whereas before it could be swept under the carpet. So if there are such issues in your life or that of your stakeholders, then rather than blame it on COVID, it might be better to work with a counselor or coach to help talk through these issues. And I wonder if some of the long hours that we spent in one room doing Zoom calls is because we are not comfortable in the other room where the family members are. Now, having said that, here are some ways to deal with the current stress and reduce its impact on your well-being. Number one is, first, let's give up this need to be extremely productive. There's a difference between real productivity and show. And we might focus so much on the show that we believe that it's useful when it's really not. So it's okay to not schedule your day with never-ending meetings. Learn to say no and find time and space for downtime. Learn not to feel guilty about saying no and taking time off for yourself and your family. If you are a truly valuable resource, then your system knows this and you don't have to put on a show to keep your job. And despite whatever you do, despite one's recognized value and contribution, one may still lose the job because of organization restructuring or powers or reasons beyond your control. So why not keep things in balance? Here are some more ideas to start regaining this balance that we all seem to have lost. Number one, stop focusing on all the bad news and the latest COVID statistics and watching the onslaught on media of how bad things are and pictures which are depressing and distressing and grief-filled. That's the only way media makes its money or gets their ratings. But that's no reason for you to be plugged into this negativity 24/7. You and I know it's a difficult situation, that it is very, very difficult, it's very tragic. But fueling it for yourself continually doesn't make it better, but it creates chronic anxiety for you. And this in turn gets you to do things or behave in ways that are not helpful. So stop or dramatically reduce reading negative news and negative events and negative data. Switch off notifications on all your devices and decide to check in manually only a few times a day. You will give your physiological and psychological systems a break and the space to recover from chronic stress. Think or worry about things that you can control and look what actions need to be taken here. Worrying about and then complaining about or then getting upset about inefficiency in the system or corruption in high places or lack of discipline amongst the public or government, etc., completely exhausts your emotional bandwidth and drains your willpower. Instead, focus on helping or encouraging or supporting or correcting the folks in your immediate circle or building or neighborhood. And if you can't do this or if you don't want to do this, then just focus on yourself and that's good enough. Effective self care is possibly the best thing you can do for yourself, your family, your company at this point in time. So focus on the things that you can control and don't waste time on everything else. Let go of the unhelpful guilt, that feeling that I'm not doing good and not doing enough, or I should be doing something or not doing something. The reality is that no one is really concerned about you or thinking about you or noticing that you're doing or not doing something. Each person is mostly preoccupied with him or herself. So feeling guilty or being concerned about what others might be thinking or saying about you is once again not helpful. So let's bring our quick conversation to a close. I want to encourage each one of us to have a COVID fatigue management strategy for the next 6 months because this situation is likely to stay at high risk levels for all of us. And yet we are all weary and fatigued by the last year and a half. So we need to have a proper fatigue management strategy. The fact that the light at the end of the tunnel seems very dim can cause a sense of hopelessness and helplessness. And this is what we want to be better prepared to deal with. I trust that our conversation gives you some ideas to weave into a COVID fatigue management plan that works for you and your family. Good luck.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Please connect with us on coachtoolbox@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and review this channel. Details of our ICF-approved coach training programs and our services as executive coaches and coaching supervisors are on www.globalcoachtrust.org. See you in our next session.